Hi, everyone. I am Cohasset Select Board member Corey Evans, and here is a quick recap of the Tuesday, August 24th, 2021 Select Board meeting. This meeting, we began with one of our community health updates. And the reason for this is basically over the last 6 weeks, really the state, the county has gone from very, very low, COVID cases to what the state considers, moderate or high levels of COVID spread. And that's all due to that Delta variant. Certainly a lot of concern. So we're going to be continuing the community health updates. That way we are ensure that how we operate as a town, we have the resources, the operations to try to protect our community as best as possible. Another thing we talked about is the closing of the Coast Guard station in Scituate. The station in Scituate is actually a seasonal station, and it's just open basically during the summer when everyone's out on the water. While it's not in Cohasset, it is an area that Cohasset boaters frequent. It is easier to get from Scituate Harbor to some areas of the Cohasset coastline. And we think it's important that this station stays open. On the water, minutes, seconds count. So if they do relocate the resources from Scituate to the end of Hull, if there's any issues on the water in the area, we now have we have Coast Guard resources that have to make a much longer journey, especially to certain areas of our harbor. So we're going to be pushing hard, especially working with our federal delegation in the House and the Senate to ensure that this message gets through to the Coast Guard and the federal government. We also talked a little bit about the town clerk situation that we have in Cohasset. Our current town clerk who was elected a year and a half ago, that was elected at the same time I was elected, has announced her retirement. She's not going to fill out the remainder of her term. And her retirement is going to come sometime in August. And that means Cohasset has to find an interim town clerk until we have another election, and the election would happen, obviously, when we always have our elections in May or June. So this leaves us with a little bit of a gap where we do not have a town clerk, and obviously that's a really big problem. Town clerks are, they play a vital role. Everything from, obviously, beach stickers and all facilities passes as we have them here, but marriage licenses, birth certificates, all that kind of stuff, voting registration. The clerk is such a vital part of this, of any town, and serves such a vital role that we need to find somebody to fill that gap. And that's been a challenge because finding somebody that has the skills and can fill that role, but will only fill it for 6 months. It's been hard to find somebody who would be willing to do that. So we're still searching, but we're also talking about potentially maybe rethinking the clerk position. There are many ways different towns do clerks differently. The way we do our clerk position is a little bit unique. So there may be an opportunity to reform the position somewhat, to make it more attractive and make it easier for residents to take advantage of town clerk services, that kind of stuff. We also welcomed a bunch of residents to new committees that they've volunteered and they've stepped up, or they've agreed to be reappointed. And I just want to say thank you. I'm not going to name everybody, but thank you to everybody who's on a board or committee, especially if you volunteered for the first time or you're volunteered for a reappointment for another 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is. This town runs and relies on residents volunteering their time. So thank you all for what you do. We also approved a new stop sign. There'll be a stop sign that's going to be placed on Atlantic Avenue approaching Margin Street. So going southbound on Atlantic Avenue before you pass the, right at the intersection with Howard Gleason, which is the road that goes to the Cohasset Yacht Club. So coming southbound, there'll be a stop sign. We had a really good discussion with the neighbors there. We've heard from a lot of residents that walk that path that it's a really, really dangerous corner that people go really fast around. It's hard to see. So putting a stop sign there would really go a long way to preventing a future problem. The neighbors were also extremely supportive of doing anything we could possibly to make that area safe, and I really want to thank them for spending the time to come to our meeting and tell us about their perspective, because they're the ones that are, they're literally on the front lines here. They see what's happening every day, and that was vital to the board to make the right decision here. So thank you all for coming and giving your input. We also heard from Tanya Bodell, the chair of the Alternative Energy Committee. Alternative Energy is exploring a bunch of grant programs. There's a lot of money at the state and federal level for green energy, energy resilience, infrastructure, electrical grid infrastructure improvements. And they're trying to put together a package that's going to kind of combine lowering our carbon footprint and making sure that Cohasset doesn't suffer from the regular power outages that we kind of come to expect. My colleague and the board chair, Kerry Thompson, mentioned that we had the storm, the hurricane come up, and we all just assumed we were going to lose power. I did. I bought gasoline for my little generator just in case. It's part of the routine here, and it really shouldn't be. So I'm excited to work with Alternative Energy on this. I thank them for their work because again, we're on the forefronts of climate change. We're impacted by this every time there's a storm. So if we can be at the head, leading the charge in improving our infrastructure, reducing our carbon footprint, I think it's a good place to be. We also took some final steps to wrap up our process for legal RFQ. This is where we were interviewing and bringing on new town councils to represent the town in different areas. So last night we approved the contracts for 2 of the 3 firms that we've chosen, that have been approved, that have been chosen by the board to lead us forward. We had a brief discussion about the 3rd firm, that KP Law, that's going to really be taking on the brunt of Cohasset's legal work, including land use, zoning, conservation, those kind of things. And we talked about how we want that contract to look. So there's still a little bit of negotiation to go through to be sure the contract matches what we need and that we get the services that the town really depends on. Finally, we set a special town meeting date for December 13th, 2021. Special town meeting is a great time to do some housekeeping. We didn't have the luxury of doing that last year because of the disruption in COVID, which kind of resulted in a lot of things that just rely on, just regular housekeeping, whether it's funding transfers to different special accounts or small tweaks that allow work to continue on certain things. Special town meetings are really, really important things. So we set that date for December 13th, 2021. Right now, it seems like it's going to be an in-person town meeting. Hopefully, this Delta bump that we're having now, we can get through that. We have such great vaccination numbers in town that we're really hoping we can have an indoor, more traditional style special town meeting for this time at least. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching the recap. It was a great meeting. We had a lot of really great discussions, and we got a lot of good stuff done. So we had that 3-week break, but we're now back on a fairly regular, every other week schedule. So I will see you in 2 weeks. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.